You need me to move up. Just be like, can you?
Okay.
Okay, we're getting comfy.
Y'all, I love
we
this.
Here, we home.
We are.
Yes, we got the art in the background.
Yes, just a little bit. Okay, hello everyone, and how y'all doing? Welcome back to Global Gyal. It is another Black Female Travelers series talk here, and I have another good friend of mine that I met in Colombia that I'm very excited that we get to share her story. I love it because I know everybody's well as you would somebody who you've kind of just met in your life, but at the same time you don't know like every single detail. Not to say we'll get into every single detail, but who knows? So anyways, I would like to introduce y'all to Taj.
Hi everybody, I'm Taj.
Yes.
How y'all doing?
I love it. She's natural for the camera, man. She's a natural.
Thank you, darling.
So
book me. Now I'm sorry.
yes, book her, man. Book her. I don't know for what, but
I don't know either, but we'll talk.
This is gonna be good. And it's so nice. You can already see like we're very super casual and laid back, and that is what I love. So anyways, we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of Taj and how did she end up on this yellow couch here in Colombia? Because we're in Colombia, by the way. We're in Medellin, Colombia. I don't know if I've mentioned that. So let's find out more about this Black female traveler who is awesome, by the way. First of all, let's start as per usual. Where are you from? Where were you born?
Whew. So I was born in St Lucia, beautiful
St.
country.
Lucia in the Caribbean. Yes, she's from the Caribbean, y'all. Boom, bet you didn't know that. Well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Anyways, okay, so born in St. Lucia.
Yes, born in St. Lucia, came to New York when I was about 6 years old.
Okay.
Been living in New York City ever since, and then now I'm here.
Okay, so St. Lucia, New York, Colombia. Those are the three places you've called home?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. So tell me, can you remember anything about growing up in St. Lucia? What was growing up in St. Lucia like from what you can remember? Tell them a little bit about your Caribbean childhood, if you can remember anything.
Yeah, just a little bit. Plus I've been back home after 90s Caribbean childhood. That's really it, right? You go to school, uniform, like...
Yeah, you went in uniform? Which school you went to?
I went to Ave Maria.
Ave Maria, is that, what part of St. Lucia is that?
So that's in the city, that's in the middle of Castries. Catholic school, every school in the Caribbean is Catholic school?
No.
Okay. I'm like, every school's a Catholic school,
but they
it's
have
a Catholic
plenty
school.
of them.
Lived with my mother and my grandmother. Then we moved pretty young. Yeah, I was 6. Moved to New York, and then I had a 90s New York, Brooklyn childhood too.
Okay, so tell me, I can imagine what a Caribbean childhood is.
Yes.
To going to the river. You have rivers?
Yeah, we have rivers. For me, it was
On the
mostly
beach.
going to the beach.
Going to the beach.
Just liming around, probably where you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right?
Playing in the yard.
In the bush, in the yard,
Climbing the
everywhere.
trees.
Yeah.
Okay, and so
stealing
what?
people mango.
Yes, that is a thing though.
Yes.
I hope y'all heard that. The girl said stealing people mango.
Yeah, whoever could climb the tree the best.
Yeah.
Go up there, drop a couple.
I say, I hope your neighbor not watching.
Oh.
So what is growing up in the 90s in Brooklyn, New York? Like, and what was that like for you? I guess coming from a Caribbean background where sunshine and Brooklyn is brick cold, is what you all say? Or is it just brick?
It's
okay,
brick.
it's brick.
It's brick. No. Oh, and of course I came up in December too. Of course.
You did?
Yeah, the flight was in December. Yes.
Was that the first time seeing snow?
First time seeing snow. So I came up 2000. Yeah, I think it's like around 2000, early 2001.
Yeah. So Brooklyn, New York. First time being in New York?
Yeah, first time. Just moved up here. I was an unaccompanied minor on the plane. Yes, it was me and my cousin, the two of us, unaccompanied minors. Yeah,
it's so interesting. I feel like there's probably so many stories of that.
Yeah, just being on the plane by yourself.
Yes.
And it was a thing, the flights.
Of course.
Take care of your kids when you get on the plane. It was the two of us. My mom met us at the airport, at least from like what I can remember, and just like pictures. There's a picture of me like in a Coke tube bag, standing up with just stuff at the airport, like the first day I came. And it was fun. Snow. Oh my God, I was, oh my God, it's snow. Playing outside in it, bad move. Don't do that. Of course, you're outside. You got the little plastic, paper thin gloves, the little cloth gloves that are nothing on your hands.
Okay.
Digging in the snow.
Yeah.
Get that frostbite. Run your hands on the hot water. Bad move too. You learn quick. You learn real
early,
fast. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Mm-hmm, sure did. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess you grew up in New York. Mm-hmm. So what was your teenage years like? That's if you're comfortable with sharing as well. I guess, is it kind of what you see on TV? So it just kind of looks cold.
Yeah.
But then in the summer it seems fun. So were you around a big Caribbean population growing up? It sounds like you had some family up there. But then also, what was, I'm presuming too, you're just exposed to different culture, different people in your school life and stuff like that. So I don't know if you could tell us a bit more on how that may have impacted you right now. Did that help to get you to this place where you are? Not necessarily. I don't know.
I think it did. So coming up to New York, I was really around like a huge Caribbean population. Okay. It's a lot of aunts and uncles that are, everybody's an auntie and an uncle. There's this, we called it the St Lucia house. And it was just like an organized community of Caribbean peoples that really got together every so often. Whatever meetings, whatever kind of parties and situations, they used to rent out rent out the space
for parties
and all of that. Okay. Yes. So it was I was around a lot of Caribbean people, but it was also in contrast to my not everyday life, but like my outside life. So going to school, and then eventually going to work. I sound like this. Everyone's like, yeah, typical American accent. That's not what it was sounding like when I first came up, boy. It was not that. And I think I went to second grade. My teacher had a talk with my mother. Was like, listen, I can't understand what she's saying. Yeah. Oh no. I used to like stuff like spelling, like just reading comprehension.
Yes.
Because most of the Caribbean, I can't speak for all the Caribbean islands, but St Lucia is heavily influenced by UK, Great Britain culture.
Yes.
Because they were colonized by them at one point.
Yes.
And also colonized by the French. But in English writing, it is British English. So spelling tests, color, just writing.
Yes.
Some of that stuff, it was addressed. I was like, oh, dang. All right, y'all not playing here. Okay.
Yeah.
So I learned pretty quickly. And, kids are kids. Kids are mean sometimes. So, yeah, people used to, like, make fun of my accent. They used to be like, where you from? And then St. Lucia is also a very, very small island. So unless you know someone from there or you are familiar with the Caribbean, people don't know what you're talking about. People don't know where St. Lucia is. But if you say Trinidad and Tobago, everybody knows Trinidad and Tobago, or Jamaica, they know where it is. If you say St. Lucia, they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, baby. It's not for you.
No, it's not in Jamaica.
No, exactly.
Leave it alone. Close back.
Like, I know I get a lot here. What country is it part of?
Really?
It's its own country, baby.
Yes,
it's its own country. But yeah, it did influence it. Felt like, you're living two lives. Like, on the one hand, on the weekend, you like, I speak a different way. I speak a different way with my mother. The people that I interact with, the things that I do was very like, typical Caribbean. I tell people we used to, not really a fete, but people would get together almost every week. Just cooking the food, y'all got rice. You want to bring some chicken over? Because I don't got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody come, then all of a sudden somebody bring beers, then somebody make a juice, and then you're like, wait, now it's 40 people in your living room. You know what I mean? And it was like every weekend.
Yeah.
Versus going to school, and it was just like, school was very much what you saw, like the typical American, like, at least that's also the lives I thought people were living.
Okay.
Like, people come in with the lunchbox.
Yeah.
And you got make yourself fish in your lunchbox. Like, what is that? Listen, people come in with like Lunchables.
Yeah.
You got a little tin of rice and oxtail. You trying to sneak and eat, like.
Okay, so like you said, just two different worlds.
Yeah.
And did you eventually find a way to maneuver through that? Did it feel like you had to have one foot in each, basically?
No, it did become normalized, like regular, right?
Yeah.
So on the weekends, I was doing stuff with my cousins, with my family.
Yeah.
Living the way we live, and then when you get to school, you know, you move how you move with your friends and the people from school. It was later on that those two kind of started merging. Like I started meeting more Caribbean people at school. That I'd be like, I could take you. You can meet my mother, and it won't be a bad day for both of us. Like you can meet my mother now.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? My mother was the kind of mother. She's like, I need to talk to her mother, her father. Like, I need to.
You need to know who child is that?
Yeah, it was all this drama. So now I'm like, you know, she's like, oh, you want to sleep over? My mother gonna have to call your mother, and she's like, no, my mother said she want to talk to your mother before you even come over. Oh, okay. Yeah, we good, Dad.
Yes, you know how it goes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it did blend in a little bit more, and just as you get older, you meet more people that you relate to culturally. In school, at least when I first started school, everyone was, I'll say, Black American, and then I also went to a lot of schools where I was the only Black person, right?
Ooh.
In the class, in the grade. In Brooklyn, New York, yes.
Okay.
I've been in classes where it's like 5 of us, and even my high school. Yeah, girl, my high school. Stuyvesant High School, New York. If y'all know Stuyvesant, y'all know what it is.
Stuyvesant, okay.
7 Black people in each grade. I'll say in each grade.
And how big was the grade?
Maybe like 800. It's like a class of like, I'll say 600 to 800, and it's probably like, I'll say 10.
That's
Black
a gigantic
kids.
School.
It is. Yeah, we have like there's like 3,200 kids.
And had how much? 2,000 kids.
32 in the entire school.
3,200 kids.
Yeah. About
that is
3,000.
wild to me.
Yeah, let me show
I'm like, okay, coming from small St Lucia, where your class has what, 30 people, if so much, in it.
Yeah.
If you go to, if you had gone to high school, for instance, maybe to one of the bigger high schools, had like 100 and something people in a large graduating class, maybe. To go to a school that has 3,800 and something, that is wild. And then to be one of 7
Black
who
kids,
look like
yes.
you. What?
Yes, and that's including, like, maybe we have like, I'll say in the entire school, I'll give it up to maybe like 30, 40, and that's including like, you know, mixed, biracial, you know, however people want to identify. Yeah. And then on top of that, being Caribbean, and on top of that, being from an island nobody knows about. Everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Yes,
what are you talking about?
You have to fight for your existence every day.
Just to be in a room, boy.
Every day, oh gosh. Small island plight times like 10.
Yeah.
Times
and you in
10.
Big New York City. And then, you know, people, because New York City is very small in size, but it's such a big city at the same time. So many schools, so many different things going on. It's
a lot.
Versus being on an island, you can't blink too hard, but you come home. Listen, I heard you was blinking on the corner of. They be like, what? Who told you that? How did you? You know what I mean? Yeah. You come home and they talk about shit you did tomorrow. Like
everybody know your business. Like you said, blink too hard. I like that one. That one specifically. They will know.
They will know. You was blink, so you like to blink. You what?
Yes, 100%. Okay, so you had these experiences. Graduated high school. What was next for you?
So after high school, just the kind of high school I went to, it was very normalized for college to be the next step, especially in the time I grew up. You know, we're slowly moving into the age of where college degrees are like the new high school diploma. So college was just the next step. Unless you were like doing the military or doing something else, it was like the next step, at least in my school's culture. So I went to college. I went to St. John's University, also in New York. I ended up everyone's like, oh, you didn't leave? No, I actually went there because it was supposed to be like one of the most diverse schools. Coming from a school where I knew every black person by name.
Yes.
Like, like, if I saw a new black face in the school, I'd be like, oh, excuse me.
Who are you?
Who?
Yeah.
Where you from? Like, like you pressing somebody on the block. Wait a minute, I ain't see you here before. Where you from? Like, so I wanted to be in a school with more black people. And it wasn't that I wasn't seeing black, right? I was always out and about, my family, everyone, but it was just like in a school setting.
Yeah.
So I went to St. John's University, studying criminal justice.
Criminal justice?
Yes, forensic psychology.
What?
Yeah.
Forensic psychology.
Yes, yeah.
This explains the documentaries.
Yeah, listen, I was on my criminal mind. Like, I was about to be like, call me Spencer Reed, baby. And if you see this, baby, let me stop.
What happened then? Did you finish?
So, in school, I decided to join the military. Why? Don't ask me. Actually, I know why. I am asking you. So I did it because I wanted to. So the career path I was moving towards, I wanted to be in the FBI. So I wanted to do. So I was thinking of either moving forward with psychology in the criminal justice field.
Yeah.
And then joining the FBI, and that was kind of like what my goals were all associated with. And so the opportunity came up, and I was thinking about joining the military. And I was like, well, obviously this is going to give me a leg up in joining the FBI, right? Yeah. Most people, especially if you're talking about field agents and all these other kind of positions where you're, actively engaging in the work, not just behind a desk. People have, real life experience, police experience, some other kind of field work or military experience. I was like, boom, military is going to be a great, transition, or look great on my resume, right?
Yes.
Going to the FBI. Yeah.
And so that's where you decided to go to the military.
Then I joined the Marines. I was a reservist. It wasn't anything like crazy. I joined the reserves.
Don't play. Don't play. You have to
listen. Yeah, boot camp was actually mad fun. I want to lie. Boot camp
really?
was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think no. I'll say this: boot camp was not fun. Boot camp was the most fun in like my military career. Okay. It's just like, meeting new people, meeting young women, because in the Marines they separate you by gender in the Marines. So being around all these young women who are in the military for their own reasons. Yes. And some people have the lineage, some people, doing it because they had no other choice, just all kind of things. If my sisters, if you're watching this, love y'all, like Van Weddy, listen, but like, you know what I mean?
And you become sisters.
Yeah, you do. And 3 months just with these random women you've never met. Some of them you want to kill, like. But I thought boot camp was fun. It was funny to me, just the things that they put you through. So I did that, graduated boot camp. I went in as a legal services specialist.
Okay.
So that was still on like the criminal justice track, FBI kind of track. Did that, and then while I was doing reservist, then I was doing a lot. School, being in the reserves, and then I started working full time.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So I'm here doing a lot of work.
Did you sleep?
Listen, it don't matter. I don't even sleep like that anyway, so it didn't even matter. Yes, wow, I was working. Okay. I was working not full time. I was working 30 hours. Come on now.
That's still
30 hours. I was taking 6 classes, and then I was doing the reserves on the weekend.
Girl, what?
Yeah, because I was still trying to graduate on time, so I was like, I need to pump up my classes so I can be on track.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long did you do that for?
Like 2 years. Where I was just doing everything at once. Yes. 2 years. I took a break from school because it was like a whole like emotional situation. So I took a break from school. And then it was just like military and work. And then I eventually left the military, and when I was working, I was in workforce development. Okay. So like helping people get jobs, career development, training, that kind of thing. So I was doing that, and I've been kind of within that same field
ever since. So how long were you in the military for?
Like 4 years.
4 years in the military.
Yes.
What is one thing that you're grateful for with that experience? If there's anything, if not, you could be like, I ain't thankful for nothing.
I mean, just the experience as a whole. I got to see it. I got to kind of navigate those waters. A lot of people don't get the opportunity, and not to say like, oh, I'm like analyzing it, but it was just great to be in that be in that environment. I met a lot of really great people that I still talk to right now. People that showed me just like a different kind of life, right?
Yeah.
It was just a view of like what that life was and what that life could be. Yeah.
Okay. And then you realize it wasn't for you. But then you mentioned that you were working in the military, but that you went into the work development field. So when did it kind of switch for you from that FBI goal that you had and the forensic psychology? Yes.
I just ended up letting it go, I guess, because I was working at the time that I started working in workforce development. It was just like a job because I needed a job.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It was something that, okay, I'm in school, you need to keep a roof over your head kind of thing.
Yeah.
So start working, and I started working as like a data entry
personnel.
Yeah, just like entering like customer information into the system. And then I just got interested in it, right? How do people get jobs? What is like resume, right? I don't know. When I'm into something, I get really obsessive about it.
Yeah.
So it was just like falling down this rabbit hole of like industries, like this is how to get a job. This is what interviewers are looking for.
I know who to go to next.
And just getting sucked into that world of like what was actually happening in front of me. Which was good and also not bad, but it's like you can so easily get lost in something, right? If you're not focused on your goal. And it's not like it distracted me from, wanting to be in the FBI. I just, looking at life differently, I was like, okay, this is not the life that I want. And I want to transition into something else.
Okay.
But it was just me, getting into the world of like training, workforce development. And then I was working a lot with, the work we do is with underserved community. So me, right? Right? People who are underemployed, unemployed. I started really getting into the community organization part of it. Right? So working with people who are in shelters, homeless, that kind of thing. And like really working with like how to like uplift like these just marginalized communities, especially in New York. The city where you think, right? You think your dreams come true, and right. And the saddest part was that a lot of the people that were, it was like native New Yorkers, right? The people that were home, like people come in, it's like, oh, this ain't what I thought it was. Now I'm living on the street. But it was like people who've been in New York for 20 years, and it's just the systems that are in place weren't helping them. Weren't helping them.
100%. But it sounds like you switched from one interest or passion to another, which you found in doing that. Okay, so then tell me, when did travel become, let's say, enter your world? When did that bug climb upon you? And then when did it take the bite of, you're like, okay, I definitely have a travel bug. I'm definitely traveling to places, doing things.
For me, it was always kind of there. So growing up, at least being from St. Lucia, when I came to New York, visited home a couple times, right? Went home a little bit. And every time I went home, I'm like, why do we leave again? Oh, okay. I'm gonna be quiet, but why do we leave again? Like, I like this, especially.
It doesn't add up.
But I know that's different from actually being home. But like, waking up to your granny cooking, ooh, that fresh food. I'm like, why did I? These winters, and for me, it was like the winters, and I was like, I want to live somewhere warm, right? And so it was always there, visiting home. When I joined the military, that was like the biggest selling factor. They were like, once you go active duty, you'll be shipped off to Japan and these places and all that stuff. Most of the people that I was in MOS school with ended up did get stationed in Japan. Yes, like my legal services specialist, a lot of them, just because there was a need for that out there. And so almost all of my sisters have been overseas. Two of the ones I was really close with, like Pet Grape, oh my God, she went to Japan first thing. She stayed in Asia.
Wow.
So that was always in the back of my mind.
Yes, that you had that access to it.
Yes, to be able to travel. And it was just really not recently, but I'll say the last couple of years, it was just like being in the grind, right? And like I said, focusing on what's in front of you. Like, okay, I'm working. I gotta keep a roof over my head. Gotta get food. Gotta keep the lights on. But I'm bored. Now I should treat myself, right? I should be able to go out and have fun. I should be able to do this. And it just came like a realization that I'm doing all of this, but what I really want to do is travel. But it was really like we're all living this life to kind of just make it to the next day, right? I'm doing stuff just so I can make it to the next day, going to work just so I can continue to keep my lights on a little bit longer. And I was like, I'm tired of being in this kind of like, I know people talk about the rat race, but I'm tired of being in this. Yeah. And I was like, I want to be able to like really travel, really do what I want to do. But that wasn't really a reality, obviously, at least for me, until the pandemic hit. Okay. Because remote work it was within the field of my like scope, but it wasn't as easy and accessible as it became over the pandemic.
Yes.
I was looking into like Scrum and looking into a little bit of like data science to try to be able to get into those industries where you do work remotely.
Oh, even before the pandemic?
Even before the pandemic.
And also that you could travel.
Yes. So I can work remotely,
really?
Because I don't like going into work. I believe commuting to work is slavery. I'm sorry. And that's the one part of my job I hated, because I was like, I'm sitting at the computer anyway. And so I was looking into Scrum, Agile, to be able to...
These are project management courses.
Exactly, to be a project manager. I was also looking at the SHRM certification, to be HR professional, right? To get into those fields where I could navigate being in a job remotely. Yeah. But that's what I was working towards, and then the pandemic hit, and then we became virtual. And I was like, oh, great. And I took the time to rest, relax. Because that was also what I needed. I was getting really burnt out from just like working. I was working like 12-hour days. Like I would come into the office at 8 a.m. and I'd be in the office until 8 p.m.
What?
Just because at the time, I also really liked the work I was doing.
Yeah.
And the people I was working with. So it'll be me and we're talking the whole time, but we're in the office sending emails, doing the actual work, talking to each other from across the office, going to like partner meetings and all these other like, business meetings. It was work, but we were just so into it. And it was also because we're working with these communities that, I came from, these communities that are my communities, and we're helping making them better. So at the time it didn't feel like work.
Which is the kind of work you always want.
Exactly. And so I took, the time to rest, and I'm like, damn, I was tired.
Yeah.
And then as things started to get back to it, getting back into the offices and things, and I'm like, we're going back into this rat race now, right? I thought this was going to be a whole different life change, and it feels like things are going back to what they used to be.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't want to live a life where I'm working to save up to travel, to work, to save up to no. So I did some numbers, did some research, because I don't make a move without Googling.
Yeah? Okay, so you're a researcher.
Yes, I'm Googled it, and I was just like looking at prices of places, looking at prices of hotels, Airbnbs. What does a monthly price look like? I lived in New York. My rent at the time was $1,800. Again, so we had a great deal, but I was paying a lot. I'm like, what can I get for $1,800 in rent alone somewhere else?
Yes.
Right? And in the pandemic, before, when I was looking at remote work, I was going to move to California. So that was going to be my move.
Okay.
Even before the pandemic happened, I was planning on moving to California because I just couldn't take the winters. And then I was like, forget stop trying to struggle and make rent in California when I can do it somewhere else. So I crunched the numbers, and I was like, these numbers are adding up even better than I thought. Like...
It's making sense.
It's making sense.
1 and 1 equaling 2.
Okay. So I was like, let me test this out. Bought a flight. I was dating someone at the time. We just got into an argument. And I was like, okay, it's like perfect time. So I'm going to test this out. And I was also like, this is something I can do with my partner. I was like, I wanted it to be something sustainable that we could do.
Yeah.
But I decided to book a flight. Came out here to Colombia. My first solo trip.
Colombia is your first solo trip?
First solo trip, yeah.
Wow.
Yes. First, I wasn't even, so I was actually going to go to France first. I met this girl and she was looking for someone to take her apartment in France. It was like $1,000 studio. And she was like, I'm going to be in New York for like at least a month. And she was like, after a month, we can talk about whatever. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. I was like, it's expensive, but the euro is like kind of on the same thing as the dollar. And I live in New York, which has one of the highest cost of livings. I can make it out in France. And I was looking at the visa, and I was just like doing a lot of research, and I was like, you know what? Maybe France isn't the place I want to be. And I don't know how Colombia, Medellin just came up, and I was like, let me see what Medellin is doing. Booked a flight literally like 2 days before. Rushed, packed my bags, booked an Airbnb, came out here.
I did not know that that's kind of like how it went. I didn't realize Colombia was your first solo trip. And just all of that. Wow. You came here for a solo trip. I'm presuming you loved it. Presuming you loved it. You're still here.
I wasn't going to go back. The day I was supposed to go back, I wasn't going to.
No?
I was out 8 o'clock on 70th, and I was out with a bunch of people. And I was like, yeah, my flight is at midnight. I was like, I gotta go pack and get to the airport. And they were like, no, you do not. And I was like, yeah, I gotta pack my bags and go to the airport because I gotta go back home. And they were like, no, you don't, baby. And they were like, you don't have to go. And they were like, stay here with us right now. Don't go, stay here. Like, yo, they would be mad wicked. Maraway, sis, you are wicked.
It was Maraway.
Yes, it was Maraway, Nicole. This other guy, Bernard, and somebody else I can't remember.
Wow. So you met all these people on your trip?
Yes, met them in the month that I was here. And
when you came for a month?
I came for a month my first time.
You came for a full month working online?
I was working online. So by this time I was already remote with the pandemic.
Yes.
This is June of 2022.
Okay.
And I was like, on like a monthly budget. I was like, I can get a place. If I want to travel, I was like, I can do one country each month, travel around like that until, they're like, we back in the office for real.
Yes.
Right? And so I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I was doing 1 month. I came out to Colombia for a month, learning Spanish. My first day I had no pesos. I had a $20 bill and my cards. And I was in Centro, in La Candelaria. Girl, yes, I'm always in the hood. But whenever I go somewhere, I'm always in the hood. Yes. And
this downtown.
I arrived to Colombia midnight. It was just, it was really like, it was midnight when I came. Phone barely working because you don't really have service. Took an Uber to my place. Went to sleep. Woke up the next morning. I was like, I need some food. I was walking around to people. I was like, what can I get with this? And everybody was like, I don't have no change.
Yes.
Mommy, what you doing?
Yes.
I had to go to the bank. I had to go to like a Western Union, get change, get food. I ate, the brosti chicken. I ate that for like the first 3 days. I was eating brosti chicken and arepas my first 3 days. Yes.
What?
Yo.
There are like so many questions, but I guess the most important thing is that you did it.
I did it. Yeah.
And what was the feeling like? Because it didn't sound very planned, but was it kind of this is actually what I've always wanted type of thing? Or I'm scared to death, but I'm still going to do this?
It was a little bit of both. Yeah, it was a little bit of both. Because, like I said, I did a lot of research before, but there's just a lot of things you can't research, right?
Yeah.
When you come in, it's like, okay, you need money, you need this. Like, it was just a lot of little things that no matter how much you plan, oh, you still forgot this, forgot this. So at the time, it was very scary. I guess the first initial getting off the plane, getting to the Uber, it was midnight. So I was like, okay, I'm here. Let's go to sleep. Let's see what happens. I was like, I'm here. I made it. That was like my biggest concern. I made it.
Yes.
Waking up in the morning, trying to find food. I was like, baby, what are we doing now? What are we doing? What's the plan again? Because I forgot. What was the plan? Because I forgot.
Wow.
And the first couple of days, it was just a little scary, but it was also like, I'm really here.
Yes.
Even though I'm like trying to give people my little 20 and they're like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what it is, right?
Yeah.
This is what it is. Yeah, it was my first time like being by myself. I was like, yeah, baby, this is what it is when you by yourself, sis. You
gotta figure it out.
You have
And
to figure it out.
30 days later, you are at a table, lying on the streets, and your friends who you've now met are like, don't go.
yeah.
That is such a 360 transformation almost.
And I was about to be like, you know what, y'all?
Y'all making sense.
Listen.
Y'all making sense.
And it was just so in my idea, because before I left, I did think about it. Buying the ticket was I bought it 2 days before, but I'd been thinking about it for a couple of months.
Yes.
And so playing with the idea of traveling, but also being on the move. And I brought it to a couple of friends. I brought it to my partner I was with at the time. I brought it to one of my cousins, a couple of friends that I worked with, and nobody was really getting it. Nobody was getting it. Like, I would be like, okay, I'm thinking about traveling the world, one country every month. What y'all think? And they'd be like, what? I'm like,
Does that make sense?
it's not making sense. It don't sound like it's making sense, because it's making sense to me.
Yeah.
And nobody was getting it. Everyone was just like, you're gonna live out of a suitcase? And it's like, yeah, but I don't care about the clothes. What? I wear the same to work every day. And what? Okay, what's next? What about your friends? You gonna make new friends? Like, everyone just had all these questions. And it was until I talked to one of my friends, Whitney, and I was avoiding telling her, actually, because no, she's gonna be like, that don't sound smart. She'll give it to you straight. I wasn't even gonna tell her. And I called her and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this or whatever. And she's like, yeah. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, that sound. She's like, okay. And then what you gonna do with this? And I was like, okay, I got this plan for this. She's like, okay, yeah. I was like, I'm not being crazy, because everybody got me convinced I'm on, like, and she was like, no, that makes sense. I was like, bet.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what you're right, because I know I'm right.
Yes.
I know what I'm talking about. And I literally was like, you know what, you're right. I was like, I'm about to buy it right now. She was like, wait, right now? I was like, yes, I just bought the ticket. And I bought it, came. I was like, yeah. Because I was really having those doubts of like, girl, you about to pack up your suitcase and go to another country for what? To do what? Like, it was just like.
And I like how you said it too. It makes so much sense to you.
Yes.
And other people might make you doubt yourself, but then in the end, you kind of just needed that one thing. But just to reaffirm how right you are. And look at you. You thrived in that month. And so I'm presuming you went back home.
Yes.
But then how long did it take you to be like, I'm packing up my stuff, I'm going on the road again?
1 month.
1 month. One month. And then you came back to Colombia?
I came right back. It was 1 month, and I came back home, came back to New York. Was just trying to figure out some things, like relationship things. And then, I decided, okay, I'm gonna do this for real. Packed up again, bought another ticket. It was another 2-day ticket. Packed up, and I started with Cartagena. I went to Cartagena for 2 weeks because my birthday was coming up. I left like the week before my birthday. So I was like, you know what? I want to be on the beach because, island, y'all, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I was like, I want to be on the beach in the sun, because Medellin is great, but it was really,
raining.
It's raining.
It always rains here.
It's always raining. But it's gorgeous. Now, it'll rain, and 30 minutes later, you'll be back in the sun.
Will be out.
But I was like, you know what? There's no beach. There's no pools like that. It's like a rooftop pool full of everybody. I was like, nah, I want to be on the beach. I need some sun, some sand. Cartagena for 2 weeks. That was cute. And then I came back to Medellin, and And
then you've been here kind of ever since. So have you traveled to other places in between that time in South America?
I have. I've been to 2 other countries. I've went, 3 other places. I went to Mexico. I went to Costa Rica most recently, and I also visited San Andres, which is an island off of Colombia. I was supposed to do a country every month, but mind your business.
Okay, I mean, but you still did a lot. So you've been here for almost a year now.
Yeah.
When is gonna make a year? September,
June,
August?
From Yeah, August will make a
second
full
time.
year from the second time I came back.
Wow.
But I can't stay that long.
Oh.
They're gonna kick me out the country, so.
Okay, so then what do you see for your life moving forward? What's next after Colombia? Is Colombia going to be home? Do you see yourself traveling to to other countries? Is this like you've started now, you can't stop, you're rolling down the hill type of thing? Or is it, okay, I found somewhere that I'm comfortable with, home it is?
I will say Colombia is feeling like home right now, but I want to see other places. It's definitely one of the places I will always call home, and I feel like once I'm done seeing everything, and once I get tired of everything else, this is always going to be a place I'm going to come back to. Maybe in the future I'll get like a visa and actually stay here long term. For right now, I'm planning on hitting Europe right now for the upcoming summer.
Okay.
Listen, that dollar is hitting really strong.
Okay.
The British are mad, but it's getting close to that British pound, so I'm gonna go get my money's worth.
Y'all, that's a perfect example of travel hacking right there.
Yeah.
The currencies are so similar. Why not take advantage?
And the US dollar is pretty strong, like a lot of places right now in general.
Yeah.
But the Brits are very mad, and I'm like, listen, I'm coming to take a little visit real quick before it drops.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do Europe this summer because we only have 3 months.
Yeah.
Visa things, you know that, right? Yeah, you only have 3 months, and then you have to come back in 6 months. And I'm not doing Europe in the winter.
Yeah.
And then from there, a friend and I are making plans to do like India, Bangladesh, like a lot of the Middle Eastern countries. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that's so nice. Is that married?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But let's see.
Know.
That's a plan. Yeah.
Yes, that would be amazing.
And then I'm trying to hit the Caribbean by the end of the year.
Okay, so that's all just for this year.
Yes, but let's see how it goes because I might hit the Caribbean moving into next year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Damn. Okay, so the travel bug is like just
gotta get it.
Hold on tight.
I will settle down.
Yeah.
Even right now, I'm feeling like I want to settle down in Colombia.
Okay, Colombia. So Colombia will be home.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm like, I want to continue traveling while I have the energy. Once I get tired, if I find a place I like, I'll stay there for a little bit. But keep it up. Yeah.
What's one thing that you really love about travel?
The people. I know it sounds corny, but it's really the people. I really do. Just the different interactions that you get, the people that you find, right? The people that you meet.
Yeah.
Because even this travel journey, it seemed so foreign when I was in New York, and it was just like, for me, it made sense. I did the calculations. I was like, okay, this sounds like something I can do. This is like the obvious, like, this is just so smart. Why did we not do this before?
Yeah.
But the people in my life are like, girl, no, what are you talking about? And then you come out here, you're meeting people that are doing the same thing, have similar stories, or even doing crazier than you. And you're like, well, damn, baby, this is what I need.
Yes.
To be around these people. One of the things in the pandemic that was really draining me was not enough, like, just Black content. And specifically, at first it was Black Caribbean content, obviously, because that's what I resonated with. And I was like, why do we have all this stuff and we have all these people speaking on Caribbean issues, but they're not Caribbean? Where my people at? Like, why aren't we doing we have so much culture and so much content that we could be creating. What is going on? And then it came into a need for, I want more people who are not American and or British. No offense. But it was just like, I want to see what are Black people doing around the world.
Yes.
And that's really what it came to. What are Black people listening to? What are the Black musicians? What's Germany listening to? I know they got some Black German singers that are doing something in Germany. Where are they? And that's what I was looking for. And so when I started traveling, my goal was to meet Black people outside of the United States.
Wow.
That also weren't, love my British people, but it was just like, I want to see more than just the America, the UK, and the Canada, right?
Yes,
narratives.
Blackness. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted more Black experiences outside of those three. And that's what I've been finding, right? Just Black people. Granted, a lot of people have been Black Americans, Black British people, Black Canadians, but it's like they have stories that go so much deeper than that.
Yes.
And you meet people that like who live lives that you didn't even know were possible, right?
Yes.
I didn't even know this kind of life was possible, and now
Yes.
I'm seeing you in the flesh living it, and it's
Yes.
like, okay, I got more possibilities.
Yes.
We could do more things.
Yes. I love that. I absolutely love it. Okay, so if you met somebody or have any advice for anybody who I guess was in your position or just is thinking about traveling, packing up, buying a ticket 2 days from now, what piece of advice would you give them?
It's gonna be cliche, but really do it. And don't be scared to do it alone, because the thing about doing things alone is that you think you're always gonna be doing things alone, but you have to do things alone to find the people that you want to do those things with. It sounds like it don't make sense, but I was really just telling someone this, like, you have to, going alone to do the things you want to do, you're gonna meet the people that want to do those same things. I would never have met, obviously, you or any of these people. Maraway, my friend that I'm planning on traveling with, would never met her if I didn't just book it, and I didn't have anyone to go with. There was nobody gonna come with me. I didn't have anyone to be like, hey, you want to do? I was solo dolo, and now I'm not.
Now you got travel buddy for the
Okay.
world.
The group chat is popping. Listen. Right? Now I'm around all these amazing, beautiful people that I wanted to be around, all these amazing, beautiful Black women doing it.
Yeah, with that like-minded and that mentality.
Exactly.
You're finding your tribe almost.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. And you just did it. So I agree, just do it. If you're thinking about it, just do it. Okay, I guess, is there anything else you would like to share?
Oh God, I talked enough. Okay.
I was gonna say, how was the experience for you?
What?
This.
Oh my God. This is fun. It sucks because I want to ask you questions too.
I mean, you can.
I can't. I feel like that was what I was trying to, like, I was like, I know this is the interview because I want to be like, every question you asked me, I was like, okay, and?
Okay, no, it was a one-way interview, but let's do it. You can ask me 2 questions. I think people would like to see that too.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm flipping the switch right now.
I want to know, all right, I'll ask the first one. How did we, because I know from, just talking and we sharing our stories, you grew up in Antigua, went to Canada for university, and then you started your travel journey. No, Ghana was the 4th country on your travel journey. Third country. So how did you get from Antigua, Canada, and which country started your first, like?
New Zealand was the first country that I packed up my bags and moved to.
Okay.
When I graduated from university in Canada, I went on a trip. I was supposed to do a study abroad in South Africa. It didn't work out, but I saved money over the summer working and took myself to South Africa by myself. So I guess that was kind of my first solo travel. Yeah. But I met somebody who told me that they, again, just traveling, just doing stuff, met another girl, and she said that she had just moved back from living in New Zealand for a year. I said, what? New Zealand, where's that to get on the map? And I'd heard it was a beautiful, beautiful country. So from that point on, I said, I'm going to live in New Zealand. I'm going to do what this chick did. And I crunched the numbers and I was like, okay, how much money do I need to survive in a new country by myself? And that's how I went back home to Antigua, worked, saved, made, I think, the amount that I wanted to, and then packed up my bags and moved to New Zealand.
When did you go to South Africa? What year?
2015.
And then when was New Zealand?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're making it happen. So
Yes.
we've been traveling from early.
Yes, before pandemic, before all of that. But I guess South Africa, that trip was what introduced me to the fact that people travel in that way. And then New Zealand was just concrete confirmation of it. After New Zealand, I went to Australia. After Australia, I went to Ghana. And then Ghana and Colombia.
Okay. And my second question is, what is your favorite thing about this experience? Like, what keeps you traveling? What about it is keeping you moving? What about it is not making you say, girl, let me pack my shit and go back home, I'm tired? Like, what's keeping you going?
Originally it was, and it's still a thread to it, but I just love it. After traveling for 2 or 3 weeks in New Zealand, I was meeting new people. I was traveling through the country, so I was sleeping in like a new hostel every night, just new experiences every day. And I remember standing up at the bus stop being like, I absolutely love this. I love just everything about this. How can I do this for the rest of my life? How can I get paid to do this? And so that's kind of also where I said, you know what, maybe if I'm a blogger or something, I could develop something where I'm getting paid to do it. Still working on that, but so there's just a passion for it, just the new experiences, challenging myself. But it's not climbing Mount Everest or anything like that type of challenge, but it's making yourself uncomfortable with the normal stuff, and it's like a switch in the mindset. So that's one. But then two is, after doing it for 2 years, so when I was in Australia, again, I loved it, and I realized that each region of the world is so different. So I said, why don't I try to live in a different region of the world for 1 year, for 5 years? I started at 24, 25, and I said, you know what, maybe I could do this till I'm 30. So I think because I set that goal for myself, I don't want to stop until I'm 30, and then at 30 be like, okay, what are you doing now? Do you want to continue? Do you want to thing? And just like you, the overarching best thing about it is connecting with people. And I find if you've lived in a country and experienced somebody's culture and how they talk and just the way the things are, no matter where you go in life, you will connect with those people much faster. So in an airport, if I meet a Ghanaian, I will say something in Chi, and they'll be like, huh? And then that person could potentially become your best friend for like the next couple of days or weeks or whatever it is. So I find it's giving me life skills. So to answer your question, just a love of passion. A passion for travel, and that goal of said that I was going to travel for 5 years. I would kick myself in the butt if I didn't live up to that one.
So, off camera. 5 years almost up. What's up?
It is. 5 years is up, actually. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. COVID. COVID stole a year and a half from me, maybe. So it kind of threw off my original goals, or the timeline, let's say.
So you adding 2 years to the back end?
Girl, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not sure right now. It's like my birthday's coming up soon, and I'm like, okay, you're turning 30. This is what you said. What you gonna do?
What's happening?
So no, I don't know. By this point, I said, if Global Gyal popped off,
which it has,
I don't know if I'm still not a full-time YouTuber. This is not what I do. This is not how I make my money.
Pay my friend, please. Thank you.
PayPal, it's in the description, please.
Thank you.
If it was / when it gets to that point, if I could see myself like being able to live off of this, then I would definitely continue. Because I love creating content. I love sharing stories and hearing other people's stories as well. I really love that too. If not, then I don't know. Who knows? There could be spin-offs of other avenues that still allow for travel. But travel will always reign through in my life in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I have to live in the country, but I'm like, okay, maybe I can go visit like normal people for 2 weeks.
That's boring.
Come back. Girl, I know. Tell about it.
That's boring.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the cab driver and be like, what's up? Where the party at?
Yeah. And then we like end up in whatever place he recommended for 2 weeks. Just because why not?
Just because why not?
Yeah. Following the life story of why not. Yes. Okay.
That's the advice. Why not?
Yes. That's exactly. That's my motto. Why not? Don't ask why. Ask why not.
Exactly.
Anyway. thank you so much for those questions.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, and thank you for coming. Yes, y'all, big up Taj for sharing her story. If you have any questions, definitely, do you want to share your Instagram or no?
We'll put it in the description.
We'll put it in the description, but she's somebody to follow, and she has a lot of interests. So depending on what they are, and if you like those interests, you should get into that too.
Yes.
I know.
Working
I'm
on a
being
couple
vague.
projects.
Exactly. She's working on a couple projects. I'm being vague. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Hey.
Bye. Who? Is that what my head was looking like the whole time? Okay.
Yay!
Ah,
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Oh, I want to get a thumbnail photo actually.
Okay.
So, oh yes. My camera's like, you've been using me too much. I know, right? Exactly.
I don't know if you just heard that crack. But...
My testo. What is your favorite color?
Orange.
Orange, why? Oh, that makes sense, your phone.
Oh, really? This is not even as orange as I like it. I don't
No.
know. It's like bright, sunny. I feel like red is a little too harsh.
Yes.
It's a nice color. Orange, green, black.
Orange, green, black. Interesting. I would have guessed the black, but not the orange.
What's your favorite color? That way?
Blue.
Ooh, why blue?
Blue is peaceful, it's calming, it reminds me of the ocean. Any ocean colors, going from blue to green. Growing up though, I always used to say yellow because nobody's favorite color was
It's yellow, yes.
And I felt so sorry for the color.
That was, okay, that's how orange started out. It was like no one would say, they'd be like orange. Like even like everyone's like,
exactly.
orange?
Yeah.
It's like pink, purple, blue, green, and then black. Yeah.
Nobody say orange. I felt so sorry for it. And then I always ended up in yellow house in school too. So I was like, yeah, this is my favorite color.
Not the yellow.